Now on the 18th, they more.
The same man.
Yeah, the same man.
The same man who want for you to go steal.
Yeah, he called me on the 18th.
Yeah.
Now in the around about 8:30, the man called me. He said, "Oh, my man, I'll let you be there and call you by again."
So that time you go to where?
I go to where? I go to where?
You leave from your working place, you come to the man.
Yeah, I'm from to my working area to Clarence to now go to the man.
To go steal now.
No, I don't go steal. I go steal. I mean, I go to yeah.
I say the man go steal.
How you question me, man? The thing you want for me to explain for you to understand,
Yeah,
then you still questioning me, doubling the question. How made it talk clear?
Okay, let's go now.
Journalist.
I beg you, sorry.
I say
The man call you in the night now.
when the man call me in there,
Yeah.
he asked me, say, how many of you are working to the area? I say we are 3.
You told the man say you're 3.
Yeah. So he said, I want to give you tea
The man
to carry to
The man say you want to give you what?
tea. How milk tea? How milk tea?
Oh, milk tea.
Yeah.
For you to drink.
With bread.
The bread.
3 pieces of bread.
With egg inside.
We eat my butter. So when I carry it to when the man say carry it to the man, when you give it to the man, then you must come back to the car.
So the food man give you now, you carry that thing, go convince your friend now.
Yeah, when I give it to the man, the man say thank you. I say okay. The man say, oh, where you going now? I say, oh, I'm going right here. So one of my friends called me.
And the same man you going to now.
Yeah, the same man.
The man tell you say he want for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man, he say clean the car. Then they are 2 now.
In the Jeep.
In a Jeep. Then they are 2.
A big Jeep. Oh.
Yeah.
That one.
Black BG. Photo G.
Photo Jeep.
Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
Air condition all inside.
no. Papi, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the whole tour now. But you can judge people.
I just asking you a question, sorry.
You can judge people like can come here.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you talk in the question, you say when I move from here, I'll free. You say when I move from here, I'll free. You say one talk again.
Exactly.
I wanted to make a whole talk clear to you, but you double in the question. Hi, not looking, hi, you looking, hi, looking. Then you want post and no more word there again. Why not be looking to the talk? I'm not going to talk again. And said they call me to the office. I go explain.
I think you explain to me that you come to get paid. You say you carry the tea to the man. After you carry the tea to the man, and you come now. So what next now?
And for me, I will not fair.
Nobody, you getting very. You say ask me too much question. Hey, there's me things say make your egg and bread. You bring it. Okay, sorry. That's why I say sorry now. Okay, sorry.
If you
I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
when I give you answer now, then you
Okay. Explain again. I'm not asking you no more question again. Okay, let's go ahead now.
go to school. The English say I need the English.
Okay, sorry. That's why I say sorry now. Sorry.
Say Ali, you take time. You take time.
I'm taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Say I can take time
To explain. Okay.
Distinguished colleagues, this is a two-faced issue.
This is a critical issue in this country, and we must stand up and speak the truth. Because for you to use the fact that prior to printing, it means you already tell me print. But before you print, come back to me.
There is nothing in that paragraph that indicated that money should be printed.
The essence of this exercise, the essence of this exercise is to know the facts. Everybody will have the opportunity to ask questions if you so desire.
When you have food to eat, when you have a place to stay, when you are not in the hospital, when you are not in the mortuary, you've got to be thankful to God Almighty for being alive, for being strong. If you are in the hospital, in the prison compound, wherever you are, don't lose it. Life is all about challenges. There are days you're going to be beaming in blistering smiles. And there are times you're going to think you're taking the entire weight of the universe. Whatever the case is, whatever you are confronted with as an individual, remember that life is unpredictable. The life in itself is a complicated situation. When you find it, eat it. When you have it, keep it. What a pleasant way to welcome you to another fascinating edition of the program Freedom Hub on 87.9. My name is Kai. Alexa Vanjakoli is also here. Jointly, we run up to 6 o'clock today, bringing you all of the information you need right here on 87.9. What are the issues and individuals we intend to talk about today? On today, we're going to be discussing a situation in the CDC involving House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers as it relates to the upcoming speaker's elections on Monday, where the CDC has already endorsed the candidacy of Deputy Speaker Councillor J. Fonanti Kofa. What is it from our end? What do we make of what's happening? The information that current Speaker Buffer Chambers is not too okay with too many things in the party. What is it from the party's angle? What do we know as a political analyst? What is it? We have a conversation on that issue at about this moment. On the flip side of issues about 5:15 today, we're going to be looking at general reconciliation. And to quantify that, we're going to be looking at genuine general reconciliation for the country. How should Liberians proceed with less than 11 days for President Weah to turn over power? What kind of country do we intend to have with less than 21,000 vote difference? Can Liberians put aside their political differences and move ahead? What are the current indicators? What should the next government do? What should the outgoing government do? What should Liberians in particular do? If this is the size of the program today, join us as we deep deeper into the issues like Marco Gaiman would say, right here on the People Station. Remember, irrespective of whatever that is going to be happening in the country, get this clear in your mind that Liberia will never burn. Let's take a break to be right back.
It's about musical. There are crowds in many places, in every community, you know, you can see. So if you see crime, don't hold it. Don't take law in your hands for the real authority. Really can't take your law in. Crime stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a human talking, I mean you check. Do it for safety. If you see it, don't keep it. I'm a part to report it. Crime stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own self, Omen Sam Sion.
Crime stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before.
Crime Stoppers Liberia, our official sponsor here on Freedom Hub and Freedom FM 87.9. Alexa, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Oliver. And I would like to say good day to all of you out there. However, where you're joining us, we'd like to say welcome to Freedom Hub on 87.9 FM. It is actually a wonderful day, and we have a great weather. So I would like to say welcome.
It is already the dry season, so the weather is supposed to be great.
Well, you can't say that all the time because you have to experience climate change some sort of way. But it is a good weather today. I mean, it's so sunny. If you go out there, you're going to enjoy if you're looking for that. If you're not looking for that, well, just stay indoors. Really.
Okay, so basically, there are too many things happening in the country, and we intend to talk about it. So we have 11 days till the inauguration. 11 days for Minister Toy to remain the Minister of Finance. 11 days for Minister Frank Musa Dean to remain the Minister of Justice. 11 days for all of the ministers, all of the presidential appointees with non-tenure position. We have 11 days for them to remain in authority. 11 days for the good ministers to leave their jobs. The good officials of government to turn over power. 11 days. We also have 11 days for the big show, pompous, arrogant, and how you call this thing? Selfish ministers to also leave their jobs, including people who were appointed to non-tenure position. So whatever the case is, we have 11 days for the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia to be changed from George Weah to Joe Boakai. So 11 days for the country to turn green. So at the moment, the country got 11 days to remain blue. In 11 days' time, the country is going to turn green, and that will see the Propo agenda for development and prosperity, the PAPD. That agenda is going to be coming down from the pitch, and the rescue agenda is going to go to the football field. Interestingly, one of the rescue coaches, Yeka, is saying we are not managing any expectation. Hey, Alexa, are you with Yeka on it? Will you manage your expectation? I mean, we gotta be serious.
Well, I'm now a huge fan of managing my expectation because
No, but you got to manage.
no, no.
Americans said we should manage
let
our
me say what I want to
expectation.
say. I'm not a huge fan of managing my expectation.
Mhm.
Whatever you say you will do, I look up to you to do that. So
Okay.
you're not going to go, below or beneath what you told me you would do.
Okay.
I deserve more than that, but
Mhm.
then you said you're going to do this. So do exactly what you say you're going to do, or just exceed the bars, and that will be okay. So for me, I'm now also managing my expectation. We're basically looking forward to have all of the different things that was said, being done, being fulfilled, and maybe more. Because I mean, at the end of the day, this is about Liberia. This is about our country. So if you're going to tell Alexa, I'm going to do this for Liberia,
Mhm.
I'm going to do this for Liberians, definitely that has to be done. So of course, I'm not really huge, but I'm not a fan of Yeke Koluba. But on this note, definitely, I join him. I'm not managing my expectation. I'm sure there are also Liberians out there who wouldn't want to manage their expectation because it is like really, really high. And it did not just happen like that. Because someone said we will do this. That's why we're having all these different expectations. So
Okay.
of course no one's going to manage that.
Okay. So that is equally logical. But let's move to the rest of it. But just so you know, we just got 11 days or nothing
Yeah,
more.
I mean, I think
Yeka is having another press conference.
I hope it is not about the ultimatum he gave.
Yeka is having another press conference. I don't know
What do you think about that?
what it is, but
Maybe because Yeke gave an ultimatum, and I think it was about 3 days, right?
sure.
So basically, today is Thursday.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, one would say maybe he's now fulfilling what he said. If the ultimatum was not actually met, if exactly what he said should be done,
Okay.
was not done. So we
Okay,
don't know.
okay. So I have the press statement here. Obed Jiba of
Whatever.
Hot FM. Yes, he
Right.
was with Joy FM a couple of
Right.
months ago. Obed Jiba just released. So it is Yeka Koluba's communication. We'll look into it subsequently. So Honorable Yeka Koluba wrote the Vice President Joe Boaka, the former Vice President, and how you call this thing, President-elect of the country. He wrote the President-elect a communication. We'll read the communication. Yeah. So oh,
How interesting is
so here. Yaga wrote the communication. So the communication was written. Okay, I'm not going to mention it, but he wrote the. Look, we got something we already wanted to talk, right? But this is becoming more interesting by the day. So as we speak, Yeka is having the press conference.
like right now,
Right now, as we speak. That's what I said. So let's see if I can pull a bit of what Yeka is into. Okay, the press conference is on. Oh my god.
So it is possible that
Okay.
That you can go there and read it. And I've been very respectful to him. I think do I come to that people. Here's a proportion. Yeah, I'm giving you for proportion from the TV. Many Liberians who are listening to you, also listen to your crowd for a better country, said this would have been prevented, knowing the fact that those from Joseph Blanc has come and the president-elect won't have done anything better for this country. Can you, propagate a message for them to come to power? This would have been prevented. You have betrayed. Some people say you betrayed Liberian people by campaigning for Joseph Blanc. I will now you say you're not be honest with me. Did I tell you nothing good will come from the Joseph Blanc government? I said nothing good will come from the 50-50. I was very clear. I said 50-50. I didn't say the government. Look, there will be issue along the line. Can no issue be rectified when we talk about it? Yes, it can be rectified. If we got interest in the Liberian port, it can be rectified. We will not have a bigger company in the port that will be taking almost $400 from people for tracking. When you lower your container in the US, they get you tracking number. You don't need anybody to track the container for you anymore. And those are issues we're talking about. Those are things that bring hardship on the people. Those are things that bring suffering for the people. Am I saying anything? I'm not saying Joseph Boakai giving someone your food here today. I am saying we want the people to have a good living condition. What we push for, what we pray for, what we look. 55% and 52% of the people said they want a change. And I joined the majority. Not because I joined the majority, I'm a puppet. No, I can never be a puppet. We will speak up.
Yeah. So we would take Obed Chima.
Okay, all right. So I mean, we just need to let the Liberian people know that as we speak, Yeka Koluba is having a press conference up Capitol Hill at his office now. Alexa, this is becoming more interesting. And I told somebody, I said the best time I'm going to enjoy radio is between now to the end of 2029. Hopefully, if I will want to remain on radio, because we got other plans. But guess what? It is not easy, right? Yeah. So we got a whole conversation we're going to go to, but let's just read Yeka's communication for the public. Yeah, let's just read Yeka Koluba's communication for the public. Let's do that. Okay. Oh my God. Let's read Yeka's communication. So this is what Rep Koluba wrote. He said, "Your Excellency, this is His Excellency Joseph Yoma Boakai, President-elect, Republic of Liberia. It says, Your Excellency, I present you compliments and wish to draw your attention to the Code of Conduct, Section 1.32. Section 1.33. We'll come back to the CDC and the Speaker Chambers and Fanatico file conversation. We just want to get done with the Yeka thing and we'll move on. Now he said, Your Excellency, I present to you compliments and wish to draw your attention to the Code of Conduct, Section 1.32, Section 1.33, Section 9.1, and Section 9.2, respectively, which are meant to avoid corruption in the governance system of our country. Section 1.32 talks about bribery, which means any reward or inducement paid to a public official or employee of government for doing or forbearing to do anything in respect of any matter or transaction within the scope of the official duties. It is anything promised, offered, given, accepted, or received by a public official and employee of government for or on account of favor given or to be given in the exercise of his or her official duties, and includes what is known widely in local terminology as cold water or eating. Section 1.33 talks about casual gifts. Any unsolicited present or gift of a modest sale given to a public official or employee of government, which is not connected to their official duties, which does not exceed US $200 in value. This provision shall not apply to gifts during cultural and customary celebrations. Now, Section 9.1 talks about bribes and gifts. Public officials and employees of government shall not receive nor encourage the giving of any form of bribe or casual gift in connection with the performance of his or her official duties, whether for himself or herself or members of his or her family, or any other benefits that could have any influence on his or her professional approach to issues and the discharge of his or her official duties. This, Mr. Boakai, shall not include gifts given during transitional ceremonies and celebrations and fees paid for lobbying. And Section 9.2, token gifts and any tokens given received by public officials and employees of government must be declared within a reasonable time, not exceeding 7 days, to the appropriate authority that shall decide whether the item should be retained by the public official or employee of government, or whether the gift should be surrendered to the government. Public officials and employees of government who surrendered a token gift must demand a receipt from the appropriate recipient or depository. In fulfillment of the sections quoted above, inasmuch as we do not doubt your credibility, Mr. Bwaka, we must begin to practice and exhibit transparency by following the rule of law. Some may argue that you have not been inducted, so we have no reason to question these actions. But the position to which you were elected carries a lot of influence, especially in the investment sector of our country, and others not to mention here. When you initiate the enforcement of the code of conduct as a leader, other people will begin to take note and avoid those actions specified in the above quoted sections of the code of conduct. In view of the above, we request the declaration of the sources of your donation, not to be quoted wrongly. Let we, our right, state here that we do not have problem with giving donation to our dearest brothers and sisters who were victims of the tanker explosion incident in Totota Bond County, which took away lives and wounded many others. But we should begin transparency even before taking your official seats. With sentiments of my highest anticipation, I remain sincerely yours, Honorable Yeke Wa Koluba, Representative Electoral District Number 10, Montserrat County. So Yeke, stay behind the paper to tell him where, to tell Liberian people where the VP took the $10 million from, to go and give it to the fire victims in Bond County. We dealt with this conversation yesterday and partly day before yesterday. So he has written officially. First, it was just open press conference. You think something different will come from this communication, Alexa?
Well, okay, so I'm not going to speak to whether something different is going to come out, but I think Yeke is being formal about what exactly he's trying to say
from an official perspective.
An official perspective, because he had a press conference about a couple of days ago, and basically people thought that was just the regular thing that Yeke usually does, where he calls for press conferences and then he just talks. So the fact that he had written, a communication, official one, that means this is something that is actually taking a different path, where he has put every single thing into writing, and now he wants people to know this is official. So the fact that he had already, given an ultimatum, and then that was in his press conference, though. So it seems like what he was actually looking forward to achieve was now basically achieved from the press conference and the ultimatum he sent out. Maybe because people thought that was not really official. He was just basically saying that as Yeke Koluba, regularly. So people did not pay huge attention to that. So now that he has already written a communication to, cite all of the different, sections in the code of conduct to shortlist some of the things that are to be done, are to be explained based on the position Mr. Bwaka has already won, and will start to work officially after inauguration. It speaks a lot to exactly what Yeke wants the public to know. And I will borrow from you, like you said the other day, I think he's being also objective in this regard, because Yeke is someone we know that 100% supported Mr. Bwaka. And he did that with everything. He was one of the people who was at the forefront. And the fact that this is coming from him, it says a lot that Yeke is, like I said, I'm not a fan of Yeke, but it says a lot that Yeke is one of the people right now who is trying to even start to question some of the things that people may have problems with maybe in time to come. And he wants to be one of the first people to be numbered when people are talking about these things, because he doesn't want at the end of the day to be like, oh, you can't do that when you're so this that. So I think this is a great start, basically from his angle. But then like you said, he's on a press conference right now, and you played just the beginning of it. I hope we can have some of the things he will say after his press conference is done, so we can know exactly what other things he is saying other than the written communication. So this is an official one. So let's see if there will be a response from Mr. Boakai or Mr. Boakai's team. Let's see as to whether they're going to make some sort of clarification, or they're just going to brush it off like Yeke is Yeke and he's just on his normal thing that he usually does. So let's wait again. But Yeke said he is going to definitely call the names of people who probably or possibly gave the money to Mr. Boakai. If Mr. Boakai doesn't tell the public exactly where he got the 10 million Liberian dollars from, which is equivalent to 55, I think, thousand United States dollars. So let's wait and see what will come out of this, because I'm sure Yeke is anticipating a response. He's anticipating clarification, and maybe a moment where you would just be honest to tell people, oh, this is this and that is that. So let's wait and see if there will be a moment that that will be done. If that is not done, I'm sure Yeke is 100% daring, and he's always daring. So I'm sure if that is not done, he will do exactly what he said he would do when he had his first press conference, that he would call the names of folks who are involved, or the names of people whom he thinks basically were the ones who had given the money to the former vice president, Mr. Wakai. So let's wait and see what happens. But I'm sure there are also interesting things that will be said in this press conference that he is having right now. I'm sure he's going to say a lot, and let's just wait and see what happens.
Okay, so we're not going to say more on this conversation, but yeah, is it? I think he's been very official on this note. Liberian people will say he's putting the VP on record. Now, to issue a communication to the vice president elect, I mean, come on, the president elect of the country. It's going to take time for us to refer to Mr. Boakai like that, though. So for the sake of the conversation, Mr. Boakai, the communication written to Mr. Boakai by Yeke is a clever attempt by the lawmaker to put Mr. Boakai on record. Now, the reason why he chose to do an official communication is for future references. Most of the press conferences, people are like, oh, Yeke again. So sometimes it is difficult to refer to those press conferences. But when you have a written communication in the possession of publishing institutions, the print news, media and so forth, you have a tangible stuff on hand that you can reference. So what Yeke is trying to do may, like we discussed on yesterday, may have a lot of misreactions, but at the end of the day, he is opting to achieve one thing, and that is for Mr. Boakai to tell the people where he got up to 55,000 US dollars from to give to the victims of the tanker explosion in Totota Bon County. Now, the reason why these things are happening is because Yeke then boasted in the country to the extent where they were even willing to fight war in the country. Had anything happened to their election results. I mean, they boasted that they were bringing a team of qualified people who are competent and have love for the country. And that's why they coined the phrase rescue mission. And when you want to rescue, you rescue the country from poverty, you rescue the country from corruption, you rescue the country from too many, bad attitudes. So to finish campaigning on rescue mission, to finish telling the people you want to rescue them, and you who could not afford 10, 15, 30,000 to the point where Stanton Witherspoon will argue, if I will boast of supporting you, Yeke is concerned as to where you got 55,000 to give to fire victims when you could not afford 20, 30,000 few months ago. As silly as it may sound to other people, but this is a genuine cause Yeke is, pursuing, and in my opinion, he should be listened to. If Mr. Bwaka is following, or his direct surroundings, if the guys are following, they may not want to respond to Yeke because Liberia is one country where the leader is present. There is a critical issue that will come out. Sometimes the leader want to respond, but you have a lot of people who are in the cycle of the leader. No, don't get Yeke credence. Papa, we think your inauguration, don't respond to Yeke. I mean, those counsel, those pieces of advice may be appropriate for the time, but in the future, it's going to have a devastating impact on your political, record. So, yeah, it will be good for you to ignore Yeke today, but trust me, if you ignore him today, you ignore him tomorrow, you ignore him the after tomorrow, you may not be able to ignore him for the fourth time and going forward. So, if there can be a communication or whatever official response from the office of the from the office of the president-elect, if there can be that communication, it will help to ease the tension, because as we speak, not only Yeke is having this reservation, there are members of the Unity Party themselves who are confused. They are like, okay, but we're surprised. This is not what we saw coming. I mean, how come the Pape is receiving 55,000 and Yeke has been in a cycle where some of us who are partisans of the UP, we've not been able to reach? So if Yeke, who is from up there, can come and say, this is not appropriate, I'm smelling something featured, I mean, this is not something good, then it means those of us who are ordinary partisans who may not have the ability, the opportunity to be in the cycle of the UP hierarchy, then we are confused. So this is not only about Yeke, it's about your supporters. Some of the people who we saw printing their own t-shirt in the country. We saw people ordering their own green t-shirts. People who were printing their rescue this on their face cap, the different paraphernalia. They too want answers, because not many of the people in this country, voted for Mr. Bwaka because they want job. No, some people want job. Some people voted for Mr. Bwaka because they feel that in their mind he's going to provide the change that the country is desiring. So when they start to listen to these kind of things, it will break them down, and they may soon turn to be disappointed in you, and that's not the best way you want the country to proceed. So those who say, Yeke, they may be good, they may be right, but at the end of the day, when you ignore him 2-3 times, you may not be able to ignore him for the fourth time, and that is where governments tend to crumble. I am saying this because I know it. Hello? I'm saying it because I know it. The records, like the Liberian people can say, the records are, the records are there. There are instances where, people tend to tell the leader, Mr. President, you got to speak to this issue. And people say, no, man, the president going to do the other thing. Forget that, man. Leave it. So leave it. Now cause trouble in Sierra Leone before. It now cause trouble in Guinea. It now cause trouble all the way. Now even cause trouble in Liberia. There are some instances, there are some things where people left it. And in leaving it, the devastating consequences when it start to hit back, it can cause political bloody nose. And so, Mr. Bwaka, you don't want a situation where after 1-2 years, you may not be able to control what's going to be happening in the country. Because just as you are receiving 55,000 from undisclosed sources, and you are donating it, mind you, they both say, Alexa, so when you go visit rich man, and you're about to leave the rich man house, and the rich man won't pay away. When the man put it in your pocket and man go take us $200-300 US and give it to you, say pay away. The poor man who receiving that $200-300 US, he's not concerned about what is being given to him. The funny man said, if the man can give me 300, then he said the man can plenty of money. Alexa, that's the analogy. So Yeke is not concerned about the 55,000 you gave to the fire victims, because to the extent of you taking 55,000 US to give it to fire victims shows that where that 55,000 come from, plenty there. So Yeke is saying, few weeks ago, before the announcement of the result, they probably could not afford up to 15,000. Stanton Weatherspoon here, Costa got to be arguing who used to send the money fast. Because I say, I don't want you to feed the Pape. Stanton said, Allah, I can feed the Pape. So Yeke is saying, a few weeks ago, Stanton Weatherspoon and Henry Costa will argue on who is sponsoring Joe Bwaka. Now, barely a month after the declaration of election results, putting Bwaka, in the victory position, and you finding, 55,000 being donated. Yeka is concerned if 55,000 can come from who never had up to 10,000 last week, then it means where the 55,000 come from, there will be millions there. Now, if so, I am worried. You take power yet. Where are these millions coming from? The framers of the Code of Conduct were clear when they set aside certain sections that will forbid elected officials from taking gifts and other different pleasantries, whatever the case is. Now, it may not apply to people doing transition, but the logic behind that is that you don't want to start something that may impact the government, because from transition to legitimacy, that less than 1 month, like we said, 11 more days to elections. So whatever small money you start already with now, that small money may keep haunting you until when you take power. These are some of the ways officials of government can be blackmailed, because they may not get your money behind the scene, and a time for you to push your main interest. Once you start to do fidija, the man will tend to subject you to some form of blackmail, and that's when you find they play they ministerial go, they meant to ministerial do the, but sometimes decision can be taken because because I said man can talk. So I think Yeka should be given an ear. You may not like him, but you have to listen to him, and that's what I can do. I want to attend to this. When we come back, we talk the CDC and Fonati Kofa situation. The CDC, Fonati Kofa, and the CDC and Councillor Fonati Kofa situation, especially with the one that has to do with so that is it. That is it. So the Yeka issue is done.
And I think there, like you said, right? There are also some of the folks who are dismissing what Yeke is saying. And I think one of the reasons they're basically doing that is the fact that they think if they're going to respond to that, maybe, just maybe, it will bring out, a lot of different issues that they don't want people to know in the public. So, like Oliver said, there are moments that you would tame some things, or you would tame some people. But there are moments you will not be able to do that because, some things definitely go out of hand. Some things are beyond control to a certain extent. And if that happens, I guess we're going to have a lot of dramatical scenes or a lot of dramatic scenes in this country. And we're going to sit and watch exactly, how they're going to unfold. We're going to sit and definitely see exactly what will happen, because that's exactly how it starts. It starts from this point and then it gets to another point. You have a lot of people out there who are basically having this huge expectation, very huge one. A lot of people may not really have the opportunity or the avenue to do exactly what Yeke is doing. So there are people who are dismissing what he is saying, and they think, that is Yeke Koluba. So Yeke Koluba can just say whatever he wants to say. That's exactly who he is. That's exactly what he's made of. So he's just going to say this and just going to say that, and they would think that basically whatever he's saying, it's just reckless statement. But to have Yeke Koluba stay on just an issue not one time, but then he has also done an official communication, just to have a reference point, just in case something happens in the future or something happens in the later days. So he has already written officially to have this kept. So just in case someone would say, oh yeah, Yeke may have had, or may have conducted, a point where he had a press conference, or he had several press conferences on this issue. but then he also did a written communication to definitely make it really, really, really official. So at this point, I think what should be done is give a response or basically provide some sort of clarity so people can understand and people can know exactly what has happened. Because the logic is, if you're going to compare right now and just before, you understand that just a few months back, people were on different platforms. And even Mr. Boakai himself, he was on several platforms talking about, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. We understand whenever a person, wins an election or something else, you will have a lot of people who will come around. You will have opportunists, and basically you will just have just different people who will come around. But there are different intentions behind, some of the gifts. There are different intentions behind some of the things that will be given to you. So Yeke is pushing a point that there should be a moment where Mr. Boakai should say this, or maybe he will designate someone else to say this or to say that. Just so people will be able to understand exactly what is unfolding or what has happened, or the funds that were received, they're from this source or that source. You never tell. So right now it is 100% on record, and I'm sure what happens will definitely happen, and we're looking forward to see exactly if after, because the ultimatum has already ended, and we're looking forward to see as to whether Yeke is going, because he said if nothing is done or if nothing is said, he will be the one to make the disclosure. He'll be the one to tell exactly who gave the funds, and he will say a lot of things. So I think we'll be here waiting to see exactly what happens at the end of the day. Definitely.
Okay, so basically we're back. We're back, and that's it. We're not going to say more. Okay, we're not going to say more to this effect. We're not going to say more to this effect. But here is what we'll have to say on what's happening up Capitol Hill. I'm not hearing myself. I just hope I can get it good.
Very good.
Yeah. So on Capitol Hill, oh no, it is a problem. Let me see. Okay. All right. So the CDC, yeah, Cruiser, you gotta come in and settle this for me. I'm kind of okay. Yeah, let me see what I can manage it. Okay, we already good. We already good. Sorry for the distraction. When you're on the radio, you're dealing with too many issues. So the House of Representatives, yeah, the House of Representatives will be going to elections on Monday to elect the new Speaker of the House of Representatives, and that Speaker will be in charge of the 55th legislature. Currently, what we have up Capitol Hill is the 54th legislature. Yeah. Now, the current situation on Capitol Hill has to do with two individuals who are the forerunners. Current Deputy Speaker Jonathan Fonanti Kofa of the CDC and Representative Richard Nangwe Kung of the Unity Party. These are the two forerunners in the process. But this is not a race without controversies. There are too many controversial situations surrounding the entire political process of Capitol Hill, specifically with the House of Representatives, deciding who will become the next presiding officer of the 55th legislature. For us, as political analysts and commentators, we say things the way they are. We take our time to do investigations on matters and reach a conclusion. The first thing is the current Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Buffer Chambers, is still uncleared by the National Elections Commission because there is a situation with the election that took place in Plebo Southern District, his district, where he took NEC to their own hearing office, to their Board of Commissioners, and subsequently to the Supreme Court of Liberia as a way of seeking redress for what he considered as electoral malpractices that took place in Plebo against his interest. In plain terms, Speaker Chambers is having issues with the National Elections Commission for what he believes has to do with actions that were taken by a candidate against him, Anthony Williams. It is reported that Anthony Williams, in Kohu, like we say in Liberia, in cooperation with a local NEC worker in Maryland County, connived to have cheated Speaker Chambers in few of the places in Plebo. And so the Speaker took the complaints to the National Elections Commission, and it is at the Supreme Court. Now, why this is happening? While the Speaker is at the hearing office, he's at the Board of Commissioners, and subsequently at the Supreme Court of Liberia seeking redress, we understand from our political investigation that his political institution, the CDC, as an institution from the leadership structure, was unable to identify with him through the processes the processes associated with his litigation. Hearing office, the other place. The institution, like they will own the case, was unable to do so. That is what we've gathered. Now, instead, the CDC took a decision to unanimously agree and they built a consensus to have current Deputy Speaker Jonathan Fonanti Kofa as the lone candidate for the CDC legislators in the lower house who will become the next speaker. And several other decisions were made. Now, Speaker Chambers he's feeling betrayed by his party. Is it because of the speakership? I don't think so. Or better still, I do not know. But according to what we've gathered from sources around the speaker, the CDC should have shown some form of solidarity with the speaker, even when they had a decision to select another partisan as a means of expediency to represent the party's interests at the level of the speakership elections, which was not done. Now, a political institution should not proceed that way. Now, when you do that, you create a situation that could lead to confusion. When you do that, you create a situation that will lead to confusion. Because it will appear that you are only concerned about making Councillor Kofa the next speaker, whilst abandoning the current speaker who is having some litigational issues with a candidate who is being alleged to have fraudulently gotten involved with the process of defeating the speaker. So like you got two children, one is crying for survival, and you're only concerned about having birthday for the other one. That is how the speaker is feeling. Now, in politics, especially where you would need the support of your own people plus that of other people from different political institutions, you want to tread cautiously. You want to be very careful how you proceed. You want to do things in a way that your actions will not start to cause confusion from within. What I think should have happened was that the CDC should have consulted, maybe not for his consent, because he already had some litigational issues, and these things would take time. The CDC, for expediency, would have needed to start, getting prepared for the speakership, because you would not want different political institutions to form alliances and grab new lawmakers. And so, since you can be in court fighting for your survival, and you're fighting for being speaker. To be a speaker first, you must be a legitimate representative elect or a certain representative to be a speaker. Once you have outstanding cases, it means temporarily you are not fit, you are not qualified to be a candidate in a process. That I know Speaker Chambers is aware of. Now, out of courtesy, in my opinion, I think if the speaker had been consulted, to say, look, or better still, to go to him to build consensus as a chief, we understand with you, we are in solidarity with the case you're going through. These are our party lawyers. These are places the party can assist you, whatever the case is. But as it is, if we allow the political field to be vulnerable, where our institution will not have a candidate in the process, that could pose a serious threat to our survivability in the legislature. That could do it. So the best thing we can do, since you still got issues in court, we don't even know to what extent this man who you brought to court is willing to sustain, or to keep defending himself against the allegations you're bringing forth against him. Since we do not know when these things will happen, and it might likely end to the Supreme Court, we will want you to know that for the sake of expediency, and because we do not want the political field to turn against us as an institution, we want to field Councillor Kofa. Please, this is no disrespect to your office. This is not disregarding you or so. Although the position is not Speaker Chambers' personal position, which is clear, it is not his personal position. The party can decide what to do. But when you do that out of courtesy, you pave the way for a very smooth, may I say, transition or some form of mutual understanding. That's what you built. Now, when you do that, and the speaker is refusing to say, no, my case got to finish before you put up candidate in the race, before you do that, then it will appear now that the speaker is being insensitive to the plight of the party. Then it will pin him otherwise. But from what we've gathered, such a consensus was never built. We stand to be corrected on it. And that's why he's disappointed and doing the things he's doing. Now, were I to advise the speaker prior to some of the outbursts he's having against the choice of his party, I would have told him not to say the things he's saying. Now, the reason is because you don't want it to appear like your personal quest is supreme than that of the institution you're from. No, you don't want it to appear that way. Even when it is proven that you've been neglected and abandoned, you don't want to present a situation where people are going to be looking at you as an individual who is only concerned about your personal well-being and not concerned about what the general institution will attain. Were I to advise him, that is something I would have told him. And so, at the moment, the CDC as an institution will need to still play the leadership role. And this is a clarion call up to the chairman of the CDC, where they like we told the folks in the United Party to avoid whipping or wasting Yakas concern under the carpet, because it's not going to be a good thing for them. So am I also calling on the leadership of the CDC to seize the moment, if they are to proceed as an institution, to seize the moment and stop the exchanges we are witnessing in that institution. The first thing that should happen, the leadership should take charge. If you didn't do adequate preparation, if you didn't give you didn't do due diligence in according the current speaker out of the courtesy and reaching out to him, it is still not late. You need to reach out to him, because for you to be successful in what you do without too many distractions and so forth, you will need all hands on deck. What are people from the United Party? You will need that. What are people from the CDC? You will need that. And Liberia is reaching to a point where for an individual to become a speaker at the legislature, you do not need only the support of your political institution. So it is a very how you call this thing is a very sensitive conversation. You would need the support of even people who are not from your political institution, because it borders on the integrity of the house. It borders on what the person is capable of doing. In this situation, there are people in the United Party who do not trust Kun. I'm not talking about Jeremiah, I'm talking about Rachel Kun. There are people in the United Party who do not trust Rachel Kun to preside over the house. For them, they say, oh, Rachel Kun is our partisan. You know, but if it was Clary Massacre, we would have voted for Clary Massacre. We wouldn't have John Beyond for Natikofa. But in our opinion, Rachel Kun doesn't have the personality to be our leader. No, he's educated, he could be this, he could be that, but he's not just the right person for the right time. I mean, he's not the right person at this time. There are United Partisans who are saying it. There are independent lawmakers too who also have that opinion. At the same time, there are some independent lawmakers and other members of the United Party who also see Kun as the best option for them. They think Kofa is not the best person. They think Kun is the best person to be the speaker. Now, when you have this kind of complex, views being expressed by legislators who have the voting rights, as a political institution, you don't want to have a situation where there is going to be some differences in the opinions of your key members. In this situation, the outgoing speaker, whether you like it or not, is an integral part of what's happening. What is to even happen on Monday? The issue of speakership election, you can rule out the outgoing speaker. You can't. Whether he's with the legitimate vote or not, I'm told, the Supreme Court should be handing down a ruling in the speaker's case today. Whether he has the legitimacy beyond Monday or not, this man was speaker for 6 years. When you're speaker for 6 years, there are relationships you build across the floor. There are individuals who are loyal to you. Legislative politics, from what I have gathered over the period, legislative politics are political deceptions. There are people who will stand with you, but on the floor of the legislature, you'll be surprised they will disappear. So even an individual at the legislature is important. Least to mention somebody who was a speaker for 6 years. He may not have the voting right. He may not be, capable of voting, because we don't know how the case is going to end. But this is somebody who managed the legislature before. He got friends who are returning. He got friends who are joining for the first time, who look up to him for direction. So as a political institution, in my mind, I think the CDC didn't do well. They should have gone, you made a brilliant decision for expediency, which is good. But while you are having that expedient decision and you're building the consensus, you needed to have gone to the man who was in charge and said to him, we're not doing this because we are outruling you. We're doing it because we do not want the space to be vulnerable. We don't know when your case is going to end. We don't know how long it's going to be. And we don't want anybody to come and seize this movement because we are in the majority. A little over 25 members of the House of Representatives are CDC lawmakers. That majority block cannot be there and you have an independent candidate or somebody who is not from the CDC becoming the speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, for us to secure this, our slot, to keep it for the party, since you have issues in court, we're pleading with you, we're begging your indulgence to allow us take our other brother, let the brother, represent us on the ballot, and let's go for it. Let it be that Speaker Chima said no. And I agree. Then that's an issue. According to what we gather, that was not the case. But again, that's political party business. That's political party business. Now, the reason why we are saying it is because, look, this country, till today's date, political science students and political activists in the country are still confused as to who should take the greater blame when it comes to the current situation we are confronted with in the country. Should it be the legislature or the executive? That debate is still pending. It's still trending. Now, the reason why we are deeply involved with this conversation, these are party politics. We are not partisans. The reason why we're interested is because when you have a new government and you have a situation where the leadership of the legislature will be people from one political party, sometimes, not all times, but sometimes it becomes so difficult to have a lot of good things happening in the country. Because it almost be like the executive extending to the legislature. So as a political bloc with the majority members, for us, we believe that Liberia is going to be better off because the lawmakers will be independent in their, of course they're supposed to be independent, but with a speaker who is from the opposition community, the legislature will be somehow independent. The issue of check and balance is going to be in place, as opposed to you having a partisan speaker who will be taking somehow, who will be comparing regular notes with the president before things are done. It benefits the country and the people, the ordinary people, the most when you have a speaker and the president from different political parties. You saw America with President Donald Trump. Some of the reason why America has a lot of the, we may not be that versed in the American politics, but some of the reason why you found out that too many things were checkmated in the United States under the Trump administration was because Trump and what is his latest name, Alexa, Nancy Pelosi, were not from the same political institution. Nancy Pelosi represented the Democrats, Trump from the Republicans. And so when Trump finds his legislative agenda and put it into a piece of paperwork and send it to Congress, once Nancy Pelosi is there, they'll more look at it and say, look, you know what? This is against the people of the country. We're not going to add on it. And she's going to do everything possible to ensure that the will of the American people will be reflected in what they do, as opposed to a situation where the president and the speaker will come from the same political party. Now, since you guys are the ones in the majority and the Liberian people will rely on your critical but objective performance at the legislature, we're asking you to put your house in order. From our own political investigation we've done, Councillor Kofa is in a commanding lead to be the next speaker of the Republic of Liberia. But this will not be as smooth as anticipated if you have key members of his political institution having issues. Among those key individuals, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the current Speaker, Speaker Chambers, concerns should not be thrown under the carpet. An institution of wisdom and an institution that will focus more on leadership and problem solving, abilities, would now start to derive at solutions that will reach out to the current speaker. When people are hurt, they express themselves in different ways. And so in my mind, I think the choice of the CDC, the circumstances surrounding the choice of the CDC, for the sake of the people of the country and for the sake of independence in governance, I think Councillor Kofa is a best pick as opposed to his rival. With no disrespect to Mr. Kuhn, but I think at this level, Kofa is best suited, and if his colleagues will support him, if the colleagues will stand by their what is it? Did they promise him? If they will stand by their verbal support towards him, if they will stand by it and back it by action, which will require them voting for him on Monday, if that happens, we could have a legislature that's going to be balanced, a legislature that will reflect the diversity of the Liberian people, where the president and the speaker will not come from one party. We're not saying when it is the case, too many bad things can happen, but let's try it small. Yeah, let's try a situation where the president and the speaker will not come from the same party. Let's see whether that Western kind of check and balance is going to be effectuated. Let's see if we can have something different. And that is what we are calling for. But for that to happen, the CDC should accord due respect to whom respect should be given. Yeah, the speaker may have gone all out to say things that will hurt the Kofa's campaign, will say things that will hurt the institution. Yes. You know, I mean, those things, some of them may be inappropriate, but when people are angry, they vent. And when they are venting, you don't control some of the things people say when they are in anger. Sometimes you see the labor, the boy train, but when the boy vets, the boy start cussing, ruru cuss. Don't blame him because sometimes, yeah, that's what it is. You see the leg, she in the community, quiet. Well, you people may have she start cussing, baba cuss, doing different thing. You know, don't judge them. You know, what you need to do is to ask yourself the question: what has happened? Why is he saying that? Why is he doing this? If I were a lawmaker of Capitol Hill, given the circumstances surrounding the current speaker's position, you know, in court and running through his post-election litigational issues, if I were a lawmaker, I will be lobbying with my colleagues to have Councilor Jonathan Fernandez-Kofa as the next Speaker of the House. I don't know what say you, Alexa, but this is my position on the Capitol Hill Wahala. After this, we join the next conversation and we take calls.
Okay, so I'm one person who is really big on moral support as well as emotional support. And I said that because there are moments where people experience a lot of different things, Oliver, mixed emotions. Imagine we just came from the general elections, and there are people who definitely lost, and there are people who won. So I said the other day, people go into these different elections with very high expectations. And of course, I'm sure Speaker Chambers actually had an expectation of winning his district. He definitely had that expectation. And I'm also sure he had the expectation of definitely going back to the House and maybe being one of the candidates in, the election when it comes to the speakership. I'm sure he was also anticipating something like that. But the election happened definitely the way it did, and there were mixed emotions. Some people felt disheartened, some people felt really, really sad, and some people felt really disappointed. So at the end of the day, you had different issues, different issues. And Oliver, when you come from a home where people are supposed to be treated with respect, people are supposed to be supported. I mean, morally, emotionally, when it comes to a lot of different things, whether legal issues or not. And when you are in that position and you have not experienced that, or when you feel abandoned or you feel disregarded, it gets you really angry, Oliver. It gets you angry, it gets you disenchanted, and at the end of the day, you would just want to do things, you would just want to take your anger, out on people or out on things. And that would mean because you want to satisfy exactly your ego, or you want to satisfy exactly what you're feeling. Sometimes it is not really about, oh, because of this is going to happen. No. But when you feel part of a family or part of a team, and then something goes wrong, and then you're not saying the folks that are supposed to be there for you, you're not saying the folks that are supposed to basically talk to you or provide some sort of support, you start to think as to whether you're abandoned, or people don't really care about you, or you're just there. So I think that's basically the case of Honorable Chambers, because he went into it, and the way it happened, it definitely happened that way. So fast forward, of course, after elections, you will have people going to courts. After elections, you will have just a lot of different issues around the corner. There are people who will say, no, you did not win. There were people who will say, oh, I've won the election, but then you have to go to court just in case you have, some of the different issues surrounding your election. So it happened to Honorable Chambers. And at the end of the day, they had to go to court. So the fact that people within his political party did not actually see it prudent enough to have a sit down, or to have some sort of discussion. You don't have to go to him to seek permission. No, that is not up to him. No, because we're talking about CDC is like going to opposition any moment. Like just 11 days, like you say, 11 days from now, you wouldn't have George Weah as president of Liberia. No, you wouldn't have him. You wouldn't have all of your national leaders. No, you wouldn't have them in government. So that is like a whole different case where people are still trying to just to ponder over what really happened, what went wrong. So I'm sure a lot of people within the CDC, they're still trying to get to the point where I'm accepting defeat, or I'm just trying to adjust to see as to what I'm going to do next. So I'm sure a lot of things up to now, a lot of people are still in denial. Up to now, a lot of people are still trying hard to accept what has happened. So Buffer Chambers is also one of the people. And the fact that he is fighting his case at the court, Oliver, I think some of the leaders within the CDC as a political party should have reached out to him and just like it's not like I wouldn't say you're seeking permission,
Mhm.
but it's just like you're consulting him
Out of
some sort of way,
out of courtesy,
because he was there before.
Mhm.
He knows exactly what happens up there.
Mhm.
He has influence across the floor, and just disregarding some of the representatives from the CDC, he also has influence over other people from the other side.
Oh, yeah?
So you reach out to him. You're not there to say, oh, we're here to seek your permission. No, see him, talk to him, and you never tell. There are ways he will tell you, yeah, this could be done this way because I was there before, so I know exactly what happens when we're in this period. So I know exactly what happens. So he would have provided some of the tips. He would have definitely reached out to some of the folks that he definitely has influence over. At the end of the day, it would have been an easier ride than it is at about this moment. Seriously. But then he felt abandoned. And he felt he was just left at the roadside. So no one reached out to him. No one actually called him. And to a greater extent, Oliver, it hurts definitely when a man feels disrespected. So that means like you've already hurt his ego, you've already hurt his pride. So he will want to do things to also. It's not like you're paying back intentionally, but you just want to do things to just bring whatever that is happening. So the fact that you had Honorable Chambers to go out and say this and say that, and then you saw the public trying to weigh on just the different things that were being said, the different things that were being discussed in the public. It definitely sent signals to a lot of people, and people started to think what exactly is going on. We're expecting this person to support this person because they're from the same political tendency, and now we're saying this. So trust me, what actually happened, I think it is not late. I mean, of course, damage has been done if we're going to say that. But there's still a moment where you call Honorable Chambers and just tell him, oh, maybe we're sorry that we did not reach out to you because everyone's just trying to process what has happened. We're sorry, but this is this, that is that. And that will be able to at least just mend, some of the things that are broken. It would not really sort it out 100%, but it will definitely have an impact. Like, of course, I was not 100% abandoned because of this, I was not 100% disrespected because of this, but it is based on this, that. So I think when that is done, they will know exactly where we're moving. But it doesn't really send out a great message that you're already going opposition, and then you have someone from your tendency that is fighting a case just out there, and there's no moral support, there's no support from the party angle. So someone will want to think like, no, it is not actually worth it, so I don't have to do this. So I would just ruin everything right now, and whatever I can do in my power to destroy this, I'm going to destroy that because they don't care about me. So we don't want that. So I mean, it is not really late, in as much as there are things that have been said already, and you just can go back and reverse whatever that has been said, because of course what has been said has been said. When a person is angry, a person says a lot of things. When a person is angry, a person does a lot of things. And when that person has gotten over everything, that person starts to reflect. So I think right now, everyone within the CDC, I mean, some of the folks who have gone back to the Capitol Hill now, of course, like I said the other day, Honorable Fonanti Kofa, he has majority block of the folks out there. So what we're hoping for, we're hoping that whatever that has been said, I hope it is really honest and fair, because sometimes you will just say, oh yes, I'm going to support this person, and you don't know some of the discussions that happen behind the scenes. You don't know exactly some of the different arrangements that are made behind the scenes. So we're just hoping and looking forward to a moment where all of the folks who are on his side right now publicly when they go there to do the voting process, they'll be able to do exactly what they have pronounced publicly, that they're supporting him, and of course he's going to win. And Oliver said, I think this is also a moment to try something different, because it has always been like, this, that, this. So we're looking for balance, and we're looking for a house that will be 100% independent when it comes to discussing some of the different issues, when it comes to, just having these things to be done honestly and fairly. So Honorable Fonanti Kofa stands a better chance to win the speakership. He definitely is the right candidate to be in that position, and I'm sure some of the folks who are supporting him, all of them, they're not from the CDC. There are some of the folks who are not from CDC. Some of the folks are also from the Unity Party, as well as some of their independent candidates, or people who are independent out there. They don't have any political parties. And the fact that they see him as the best person or the best option, that speaks volume to exactly his experience as well as his personality. Because the other day I was saying something about people are not just looking forward to, because you have a government that is coming now, or new government, and you're from this government, so it means we should support. Fonanti Kofa has been there, deputy speaker, of course, so he knows exactly how to run things. He understands exactly some of the things that are to be done, so he has some sort of experience when it comes to that, and he has the personality to do that. So I think he's the best person, and I'm actually hoping that the guys will definitely see that and be honest in their support to him, that he'll be able to win the speakership, because we want to have a house that is balanced, and we want to see some things happen differently. So I'm sure that is going to happen. But the bottom line is, you have to go back to the political party. The CDC has to call, Honorable Chambers as well as Honorable Fonanti. And, you just sit together. If you're going to break bread together, just do that for peace. If you're going to have some drinks, just do that for the sake of peace and just out of courtesy, because Honorable Chambers right now is going through a lot. Even if you don't want to mention it, I know exactly how it feels. We may not be feeling the exact way he's feeling, but if you're going to empathize with him, you will know exactly how it feels to, experience something like that. Like, you have high expectation, and then you feel like you've been crushed to a certain extent. It brings, a lot of emotions. So please, you have to call him and just make peace some sort of way. Just talk it out. If it calls for an apology, you can do that. It wouldn't take anything away from you. If it calls to, oh, of course, we look up to you, respect you, and you still have your influence, and no one will take that away from you. So it will be very, very good if that is to happen. But of course, Fonanti Kofa stands a better chance, and I think he is the best candidate. I think he suits. I mean, that position suits him on several levels. Several levels. So I'm sure what will happen. But we are hoping, and we are anticipating a win for him, and what exactly will happen. I think, Oliver.
Okay, anticipating win for Jonathan Fonanti Kofa as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. According to the local papers, Councillor Kofa is way up there in the the 38, 39, the 41 numbers. Why his rival is somewhere hanging around 24, 25. Lawmakers, but the race is still on. People are still building consensus, and that's why it is important that when you have a team, that team should not be divided. They should not be split into two. You should mend fences, do everything possible to put the broken pieces together, so that at the end of the day, what will be if God so desires. But let's what are you laughing for?
If God so desires, that's nice. But please, you guys have to be united. We're baking you, man. We're baking you.
Now, the only reason why we want you to be united, we want to see a situation in the country where the ruling party will be in the executive mansion, the opposition party at the legislature, and that will mean real check and balance.
Yes.
Because the executive will not have the will all through.
You wouldn't have 100% influence over different branches.
No. So the executive can come and say, look, one quarter the wire fee payment, one quarter the free tuition payment. The legislature could say, look, no, this is not a good thing.
No.
The Liberian people, our people, the free tuition thing, not killing nobody, not killing anybody, let maintain it. But the likelihood of you having a one party executive, one party legislature to have laws just passing easily, I mean, it's going to be disastrous, and we don't want that situation. So in my mind, an opposition speaker will be the best option. And now that you have only two individuals who are aspiring to become the speaker of the 55th legislature, one from the ruling party, the other one from the opposition community, I think the opposition community should have that chance. And in this case, with just 11 days, the opposition community is the CDC. CDC is back in the opposition. Yeah. And I think the opposition speaker will be there to checkmate what the ruling establishment will do, and that will enhance some form of check and balance, not for themselves, but for the entire country, for all of the citizens, because that way the executive can just work and do anything. They will have people there to look up to them. If it is executive, come on, that in-house. Too many things will be compromised, and the people of the country will be the victims. But let's take this break. When we come back, we go to take calls. When we come back, we go to take calls. But before we do that, just quickly, we talked the Yaka issue, which was not part of our main conversation. We also talk about the Fonanti Kofa, Speaker Chambers, and the legislative politics of Capitol Hill. Mind you, we are told that at the Liberian Senate, we are told that Yombli Kanga Lawrence is being supported by the incoming ruling party, the Unity Party, to become the pro tem of the Liberian Senate. So you see, and Senator Besson Gafile is also being taped to be the consensus candidate by the independent senators and the senators from the CDC and other opposition political parties to the Unity Party. So it's going to be a race between two individuals. What we are gathering from an unofficial perspective is that Senator Finley, Besanga Finley, might hang in the tower,
right?
Or better still, he may not reach up to the date, which is Monday. He may not reach there. He may relinquish his ambition because of some consensus being built, but it is not yet confirmed. It is possible Senator Finley could be nominated on the floor, and that could be a different political ball game. Now, between Yombli and Besanga Finley, I don't see that much of a difference. Alexa, perhaps you will disagree with me on it. I don't see much of a difference in terms of what they are. But the only little problem I have with Yombli Kanga Lawrence is her temper. Yombli is an individual whose anger is uncontrollable, and for you to be the pro tem of the Senate, you would need to be an individual who will exercise the highest level of tolerance. Now, Yombli Kanga Lawrence, as a lawmaker, is on record of wasting hot water on her colleague, Senator Sir Joseph, for disagreeing with her on policy issues in the chambers of the Liberian Senate. Now, for you to become the pro tem of the Liberian Senate, you who will be in charge of the gavel in the absence of Jeremiah Kuhn, because mind you, the Senate is headed by the vice president of the country. That is how the law is. Now, the pro tem is the principal administrator of the Liberian Senate. He is the deputy to the vice president. Now, so as a pro tem, you will be running the day-to-day activities of the country from the Liberian Senate angle. I ain't got problem with Yombli's competence. She's educated, she's good, Basa woman, fine woman, stay in the Senate for a longer time. Everything is okay about Yombli. My own problem with Senator Kanga Lawrence is the fact that has to do with her anger management. I think Yombli is too temperamental for the gavel. Yombli might use the gavel out of anger. To be a leader in this country, you should demonstrate the highest level of patience and tolerance. And that's why I see some of the partisans of the incoming ruling party who, you thought the vice president Hash would deal with you. Come on. the leaders who dealt with people in the country for criticizing them, most of them in the Hague or some other than die. The country we call Liberia is a country where to be a leader, you should be able to be, you should be a shock absorber. You know the shock absorber? The McKinney and Siliki and call it shock absorber. You should be able to absorb the shocks from the population. You should be able to withstand criticism to the higher level. In my mind, Yumli is not that character. Yumli, just by wasting hot water on side, just mind you, this is not. Maybe they say, oh, Yumli was at the hot water on Botokane, but I don't Botokane were not there though. Maybe they say Yumli was at the hot water on another female senator, but she took the hot water and wasted it on a man. For going heaven's sake, in Africa, the woman should not be fast to cause the man. The woman should not be fast to start fighting the man, because when the man get angry, that death video, he won't be coming die because man and woman strength not equal. Yeah, several for some crew women, their strength. I want a different thing, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm just being comical about it though. But to take her hot water and waste it on Sir Joseph, you know, it shows that she got anger problem. She has issues with managing her anger, managing her temper, like we're saying in Liberia. Now, to be the Senate Pro Tem where you're gonna have a house dominated by men, built away there, Amara Conner there, you know, Nathaniel Mange there, Ellis Tyler inside, Edwin Snow there, Prince Johnson there, Abachier there, Sir Joseph there, James Manning there, Glebo Brown there, you got Johnny Quay inside, Sarah Momo there, Jacob Jala inside. I mean, to have a house dominated by men. Why you get how many women? Maybe two other women plus Yumli. Yeah, Daba Vapla and Botokane. Those are the only women we know there. You know, at the level of the Senate, there should be 3. So to have a house dominated by men, being presided over by a female, is not a bad thing. In fact, it will show that the Liberian democratic credential is maturing to the letter. But if there should be a female presiding officer, that female presiding officer should be an individual whose records are not traceable to violence. Because you'll be operating with men. You use the gavel some kind of way, tension could break up in that place. Some men can lose it. Some men not get patient, like I just say, who can be quiet. Some men, you try to DJ with them, that punch and blow Bene in the next session, the police station, code Bene coming. So you need an individual whose anger management is to a greater extent okay and who can tolerate a lot of stuff, because that's what a leader should be. You saw Joshua in the country, you seen plenty of people. Why you call plenty of people? I'm not too sure anybody went to jail for causing Joshua in this country. Although people should not be insulting leaders, it is wrong, it is out of order. But you have all of the insults against Joshua in this country. Not a single individual went to Saw Beach because he was on record for causing Joshua. A leader of Liberia and Liberians should be that of an individual who will be able to exhibit the highest level of tolerance. Anything on the contrary, the people will revolt against you. The Liberian people that you know today, they are not people that can take nonsense. A leader who will try to do, how you call this thing, a dictatorship, to say you won't be harsh. By the time you start acting harsh, they will lock it for you. And they lock it for you, fall inside, you're done. You're finished. I mean, that's how it is. No hard iron here you can use on Liberian people right now. President Salif introduced the issue of freedom of speech. I mean, a lot of people thought it was the highest level of tolerance she was exhibiting. Although she jailed people for putting more on some of her officials, you know, Rodney C and other people went to jail and things, you know, but still people appreciate the fact that her government could afford Liberians the opportunity to call on the radio station. It was Ellington people start calling on radio, talk show, right? Having to say, hello, my name is Mamesi Kawa from Do community, my name is Margaret Tibesin from Do, that Ellington had started. People thought Elling presented an opportunity to have, you know, everybody involved in the politics of the day, to the extent where people abuse that opportunity. Somebody used to cause Elling, yeah, somebody used to insult President Salih, though she jailed some and allowed some to go free. But then came the George Weah administration where everything that became free, Jedi freedom, free. All those who causing you, those who say all kind of bad things, not one of them went to jail for saying what they said. Now, Liberian people got used to freedom of expression under Elling. They got used to freedom of expression over applause under George Weah to the extent where they were abusing it. Mr. Bwaka will have to decide what he will give to the Liberian people. One thing I'm sure, an attempt to want to clamp down on freedom of expression. To do that will be the beginning of that administration. It will be the beginning of the end of that administration. No, that one a clear thing. I'm telling you, the Liberian people are clear. You know why? You're not going to solve poverty in 1 month when you come to power. You're not going to solve the challenges they are confronted with. They are going to lose it. They will reach a point where they want to express it out. They want to vent. They want to say things clearly. They want to say it. Sometimes they will say it inappropriately. As a leader of the country, you should be able to stand firm. You should be able to exhibit high level of maturity and tolerance if you are to proceed correctly. If not, you can't arrest everybody in the country. You're not able. You do your arrest today. In fact, when you arrest the first group of people today, all people get vexed. The next thing you think about an uprising, the country is not going to be governable. Investors not going to come here, and you're going to find it difficult to rescue the country. So I don't know what you're going to be planning, but whatever your plans are, just bear in mind that you don't have to tamper with the Liberian people's freedom. Now let's go back to Yomli. An individual who should be the head of the Senate should be able to demonstrate the highest level of tolerance. I'm not too sure those old pape then will sit on there. Yomli, who most of them older than. I mean, Yomli should be one of the youngest at the Senate. Maybe the only person Yomli older than Johnny. Maybe because Johnny just more in the body where apparently he get age too. Yeah.
He can't be older than Johnny.
No, I mean he can't because I mean the late Representative Lawrence. You remember? I mean Adolf was older than his wife though. So I mean, and apparently Adolf too older than Johnny. So yeah. So peace to his ashes though. So yeah, Yomli could be one of the maybe the youngest at the level. Because Omar Daba Babla should be older than Yomli. What the Omar from Botokane could be older than Yomli. Who the other young person in that place? Yeah, so old people to the Senate. So the Papa will not just sit down. Maybe that things I Joseph talk. Man, Eden Snow will not take you. We were done Eden Snow. I'm not too sure Eden Snow will take it. I'm not too. The Prince Johnson probably can take it, but I want to clear it. Prince Johnson will not take it. Maybe Delon will take it because that his sister and so forth. And other things. But for the Senate to be the Senate, like I told you, Yomli is educated. Bezonga is educated. The both of them from Grand Bassa County. Whatever the case is, Grand Bassa County will produce the next pro tem. I don't have anything personal with the two of them. I think they are good people. I think they are experienced people. Yomli has been in the Senate for a little over 13 years now. 13? No, I stand to be corrected on it. Whatever the case is, Bezonga Fine himself has been in the Senate for a very long time. They are experienced people. They understand the legislative proceedings. They understand the flow of the Liberian Senate. But one problem that I have is Madam Yomli's, Madam Yomli Kanga Lawrence inability to manage her anger. When she faces that anger issue, I think it'll be okay. So on the issue of legislative election, because today Thursday we're not coming on the radio Friday, Monday that the election, so we'll not have. By the time we come here Monday, Alexa will be discussing who now win, Yeah, so as we go into the election up Capitol Hill on who to become pro tem and the House of Representatives, these are the analysis we're making. So we just think if the Senate should decide, those are two good people, they can choose any of them. But when you're choosing Yomli, just remember Yomli got anger issue. If I were in the Senate, in as much as I do not 100%, fall in line with Senator Finley's, administrative, performance or whatever the case is. But I think Finley and Kanga on the plate, I'll go for Finley. Yeah, I mean, Finley is from the CPP, right? Yeah, from his Communist Party. Finley and Kanga on one plate, I would rather go for Finley. Not because Yomli is not educated or competent. She is. I mean, she's one of the best female politicians we have in Liberia. But that single thing she did, to take her high water and waste it on your colleague as a senator, the person is not your driver. Unless the person is not your career, agent. The person is not your cook. The person is not, the person is not your staff. This is your equal. And by excellency, the person is above you in the Senate because Sir Joseph is the current chairman on executive. The chairman on executive is bigger than, the other position. Yeah, because the chairman of executive is bigger than the other position. So to look at the chairman of executive and weigh out on him, You know, for somebody to reach to that point of tear water and waste it, the person can control the anger. You don't want to put gavel in that person here. They will misuse the gavel, and that will be problem. Whenever the leader is drunk with the power, the people tend to revolt. And when people start to do revolution, then a trouble happening. So that's what I can say on this whole Capitol Hill discussion. We're out of time. We could go take a break. Alexa, if you may. We take our break and we'll come back. We interact with you, the callers, on all of the issues we've raised right here on 87.9.
Interior crime stop, keeping us in the stop for all of our crime stop. The people bringing safety to your door.
Okay, so welcome back to the program Freedom Hub on 87.9. My name is Kai. Alexa is here. We will go to the lines now and interact with you, the callers, right here on 87.9. Okay, 87.9. Let's take calls right now. 086 500 104. 086 500 104, 0776 104 104 are the numbers to join the conversation here on 87.9. Plus 231 86 500 104 is the number for those of you, the international callers. Call us and let's have a wonderful time on the radio. Beginning with this first person, you've listened to Yaka's ultimatum being reduced to an official communication to Mr. Bwaka. Yakas, you are with it. What do you think? What do you make of it? You listen to the analysis on the speaker elections at the House of Representatives and that of the pro tem elections at the angle of the Liberian Senate. Let's take this first question. Good evening. What's the name? Where you join us from? Hello? Okay. Let's take this question. Go ahead. Good evening. Let's hear you. India, go ahead from India.
Because we will be able to run it on based on order. We are appealing to institutions. Every disappointment internal issue they have, we want to resolve it. So here, best they can work in the interest of the Liberian people. Thank you, this is Adam here. We'll give the time.
Okay, thank you very much. We leave you. We take this other person. Go ahead. 1 minute. Let's hear you quickly. Go ahead. Go ahead, William.
Like you said, this is why our 60 party, no, this is our party, this is how the PA always. I'll be to the point. As a father, for me, to care for everybody. If, for example, when I'm coming home, if I'm trying to buy my Christmas clothes, you tell me to speak to yourself, I won't buy your junior brother, go and show I will take for you and get another person. Because you can't play that part of the road, everybody can be, I got people can be, I got okay, with everything. So you want one side, I go to get there whatsoever. So if you're not being that way all the time, they let everybody well, you come up with the party, when you came to the laboratory, put you inside, even they don't give me job. They don't go out, I got to put you inside. In one after you can't do that. So party picture for everybody. So with you are a speaker, you equal. You could have go with a man, I got fight for a case and tell the man over me, say you were speaker for sales, like our man. And we see we support the man. But remember, it cannot be equal, they just use the director. I will not say the wrong thing to care for any no, but as a party, as a father, they all say everybody down and do the right thing. When you want that, it will bring confusion over in the party. There's the party that brought it's not the player of the party. The coach they brought the salary, and then there's always that to do. You can't do that. You put
Okay, we leave you right there. We take this other person on the line. Yeah, we take this other person on the line. Go ahead. What's your name? Where do you join us from? Hello. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to Princess. Happy New Year to you, my dear brother.
Many happy return. This should be Lawrence Spencer. Go ahead, Spencer. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. I mean, Johnsonville. Let me agree with you on a couple of issues. For example, when you talk about freedom of expression, I think it's one thing that this government should be very, very mindful with. Because obviously, like you said, Manaseli gave us, free pass during our 12-year administration. People spoke their mind. Yes, like you said, other people crossed their bounds, and there were issues there. But Manaseli, they were equally so with the outgoing president. So we believe that the party government do say they cannot take this from us. This is what the common people have. To express themselves. Then lastly, to conclude the issue about the Senate, I agree with you guys. No senator should even care about voting Ramadan. Me and much we support women participation in our politics, but the DW is not prepared to be celebrated at this time. You clearly said here about temperament, and one day we wouldn't go call and say, the speaker brought Cuba and we send somebody at the Capitol building. It wouldn't be fun for us. So Mr. Breton guy would be a very good choice, not because he's from the CBD, but I believe
that CBB solidarity you own, man.
No, man, can't. Man, that be all of them, man. I will not control or temper. You go to guys, you get to something to somebody now, and they all people there. So what we say is that is Papi take the day. Along the way, when she get mature, maybe you will know. It doesn't quite time. They can give all of position, but for how to be here or that peaceful.
Okay.
I agree with you that we shouldn't take that direction. So I will encourage all of our senators and men trying to pay for Bonga and others to not consider her at this time to be protested because she don't have that maturity to stay there fairly on. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawrence Spencer. We'll leave you right there. We take this other person. Go ahead. Let's hear you. Hello? Hello? Go ahead. Let's hear you. Go ahead, Annie. Let's hear you, ma'am.
Let me tell you. They feed on speaking. Where are these girls? Where we are? It was rapper, they were causing, so we are woman causing, so we are man. When September, when I feel on sister, you will get somebody. There is the word, and moreover, when the person comes out, we put on there. Because we don't think you say on it. We will stop and we stop and we stop. So we not give up. So the person comes out, because we put on there. Thank you.
We'll leave you right there. Andy Moses from Total Street, Sinker. Let's leave you and take the other person. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello.
You are live, but you gotta leave the noise.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the J calling for Central St. Bridge.
St. Paul Breeze, go ahead. Isaac, the noise is too much.
Yeah, Oliver, come. You are making a point very well. For me, I have no problem with this senator, Yogi Kanga Lawrence.
Okay.
And so government is state when they added, they have a raffle thing in their house. And they gave somebody to be there and see that finish protest. And when they gave it to Lawrence Kanga, I see that whole home will be on people every day. You'll be at God. So that is my order for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll leave you right there. We take this other person. Go ahead. 1 minute. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, my dear brother.
Yeah, my name is Ade Wusin, first of all, son of KOK.
Go ahead.
A member of the Career Alternative Reform Empowerment. I want to say good evening to Cesar Lester. The things they call characters in this country is one thing that once you build in more than 100 years can be destroyed in a second. Therefore, the issue of the honorable senators, she built her character over the years, but that thing that she did regarding she and Honorable Sir Joseph, I think it costing my on her character. So the people are standing against it, and then I think people like to vote for her because even though we accept gender equality based in our politics, but we cannot accept a female who cannot control her character, and then putting her at that level, that power will be within her hand. holding him by the nose, and then she may now you with her water, but then at this time will be asking. So we cannot accept her being a Senate potent. So
Okay.
I want to put on all the senators who is out there not to vote her. And then for the issue of Honorable Yvette Koluba, I think he has done the honorable thing by rating and then the president-elect, because what he did was just like an example of saying, if your money lost, they come out and say, who take my money? But then you did not refer the first person to you know about my money. So his issue of rating the president-elect, I think is granted a way to hear from the office of the president-elect. The Honorable Yakubu has done the honorable thing by rating them. If they do not do the honorable thing by responding to the purpose in the force of Honorable Yakubu, then we can stay in the body and speak to him.
Okay.
Thank you for answering this.
Thank you very much. We'll leave you right there, my brother. Let's take this other person on the line. The calls are 2 minutes. This other person, go ahead, 1 minute.
Thank you for the opportunity. Let me say this. Happy New Year to you, kind. Happy New Year to Alexa.
Happy New Year to you. There should be Andrew Moses. Go ahead, Moses. Let's hear you quickly.
This is Hussein Kew.
Oh, my apologies. Go ahead, Hussein.
Okay. Thank you. Let me appreciate you for this conversation.
Okay.
You know, I've been in the country doing some work, so I'm back. You know, I listened to you and some of the callers as it relates to Yombly being elected or will be elected as Senate Pro Tem. That is clear. It is already written on the word that she is the next Senate Pro Tem. So there is no amount of propaganda or whatever maneuvering can change that. The senators have already resolved that she will be the next Senate Pro Tem. That's one. Two, the issue of the speakership. Now, Alexa is saying that Fonati would be a very good speaker because he's from the opposition. But here we go, for the last 6 years, we have the speaker, deputy speaker, the Senate Pro Tem, and the president coming from one country. So are you people telling us that it wasn't a better government under George Weah? Wasn't that check and balance? So it really gets me confused this evening. You understand? So let me say this. Fonati will be a very good speaker, and that of I call him Richard Kuhn. As previously, I said that I would not support Richard Kuhn being a speaker. But now, with my little background check that I did, I think Richard Kuhn would be a better speaker.
Okay.
And he understands legislative politics.
Okay.
Now, the both of them are all administrators. You understand? Both of them have the experience. Both of them have what it takes to be a speaker.
But for you, you will go with the Richard Kuhn selection.
Of course, that's what I would do because this is my party and I have to support my party.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We leave you right there. We take the other person. Go ahead. Hello.
Hello, my dear brother Oliver Khan. Let me say Happy New Year to you. Belated Happy New Year to you and to all those who are listening.
Okay, go ahead. Happy New Year.
Thank you. As usual, this is Sam. We are now calling from our local resident.
Go ahead, Sam.
I think for some of us who try to follow the legislature, most especially when it comes to those opposition, quote-unquote opposition at the time, we follow Madam Yombly Kanka Lawrence. You know, for some of us, we have children who are girl children. We would be very happy for our girl children to ascend to that level. But what we are saying, the attitude she exhibited is not show leadership. So we are calling on the Liberian Senate. Because what she did, for instance, what she did, if it had not been for the maturity of Sir Joseph, he would have reacted how the Senate would have been. So we are calling on the Senate, most especially our lawmaker, shouldn't elect this woman as Senate Pro Tempore because or temperamental, she's very temperamental, and that temper may not allow the Liberian Senate to be run smoothly.
Okay.
And quickly, we are calling on the Senate also. Because we follow the issue when it comes to how other people was denied by the Senate. Most especially Taplatene. He was appointed by the President of the Republic of Liberia. The Senator Prince Johnson and quote-unquote the lies, Darrell Dillon, they denied because they said he had a Facebook or let's say post where he said anybody. Yes. Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay, you are denying on the basis of what he said on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Where he said if the property, anybody touch the property of that person, you will deal with that person or you have gone, you are denying on that basis. We are calling on any attempt, because we have the recording of President Yimani, where he even threatened to kill an immigration officer. That alone, you shouldn't be any attempt by Omen Joe to appoint it to any position, you will meet with
Thank you very much. We leave you right there, my dear brother. Let's take this other person. What's your name? Where you join us from? Go ahead. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Go ahead. Let's hear you, Chief.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, sir. Good
Mm-hmm.
evening. This is Success Keita.
Success Keita, go ahead.
Thank you. I join you from Prince District 4, Mojawaro Camp. And let me say kulo to Ipoisio this afternoon. I appreciate so much. But there's something I want to say about this incoming government. We all know the reaction of Nyomli Kanga. Nyomli was not in no position, no committee. Nyomli Kanga knows how to impose on such yourself. If you made Nyomli Kanga all of Senate protest in this country, tell me what you will do in the House of Senate. And we now go to the speakership. The opposition say, like we just say the regime, people saying that they got number and not very far. All of the number that they have right now, they got almost 6 to 7% that qualify to vote because they don't have certificate. So, this government, if I support calling people say, do it for me, I will do it for you. Be my interest, I will be your interest. So, is that how our country is going to be? Thank you for affording me the time.
Thank you very much. We take the last 2 callers and we call it a day right here. Let's take the last 2 callers and call it a day. Hello, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Hello, this is Bunny.
This is Freedom Radio Liberia.
Happy New Year.
Meaning happy return. Let's hear you.
The caller, the pillar, I was saying, where is it? Oh, the leadership go because you be there, now you be for CTP there.
Yeah.
You are very biased.
Okay.
Very, very biased. So, what is the pastor man? He says, Western God, thank you. Western God, Peter will win.
Okay. That is if you will remain in the race till the finish line. We will leave you. We take the last person. We're going to take the last caller. It is a bad thing to multitask. We're going to take the last caller here. Then we call you a day. This person, you are the last caller. Go ahead. 1 minute. Good evening, my dear brother. Let's hear you.
Yeah, and good evening to the conscious man in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Emmanuel Ukatwe. I do join you from the borough of Sudan. Let me appreciate you guys this evening for articulating the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us today, I want to say this. I think now the new government are coming to power, and we all we want for the government to succeed. We should work in hand. And what is here is I want person who support upon the Unity Party, but one person who support for Rani Kofa to be the speaker of the House because we want for the equation to be balanced. Because yesterday was some
you from the Unity Party, right?
I support Joseph Walker agenda and the Unity Party agenda.
Okay.
So one thing is we talk about democracy and we talk about equation balance of power because I want person who feels that president we are for a one on a daily basis because we said that CDC or have all of the power we should endeavor to because the protest everybody of university because today people should not come and say because Unity Party come to power and Unity Party to get the because when you do that you get to know that the way the government will proceed, you will not proceed the record because some people from the Unity Party they work in the interest of the party and one person who works in the interest of the country before the party because the country will be suffering before the party.
Are you truly a member of the Unity Party, my dear brother?
You know, let me tell you something. People know me, all my friends are Peter, my colleague, but I want to touch your corner, every touch your corner,
Oh my brother, I will really want no. Sorry, your credit got harmonized. I hope Mr. Waka's leadership 3-day free call will come back to the country. We just hope so. Then your call will not just cut off when you're on the line. But sorry, my dear brother, I just hope you'll call back some other time. But it's a nice thing you call. I just wanted to ask him what is his opinion on Yeka's ultimatum to Mr. Boyka. That's what I wanted to ask him. But we'll be going home, Alexa. I want to hear you while I search for something, something very, 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 uh, very interesting. Yeah, let's hear you.
Well, I guess we'll not be here tomorrow.
We will not.
Okay, so that means we'll be in our little corners and just observing, and then we'll get back Monday. So you listen to audio. We'll get back Monday. We're talking strictly what has happened of Capitol Hill, or maybe it will be ongoing. So we'll be here, and, just talking about the possible winner or winners. We'll be talking about that, as well as because today we should have also talked about national unity or reconciliation, but we had too many different issues, so we could not talk about it. I'm sure we're going to talk about that Monday, because elections are over, and we have to get together as one people, one nation to push ahead. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to, just by talking about that, we'll be looking at just the possible factors that are involved as to whether Mr. Blackheart will be able to unify the country, reconcile the people. Some of the things that are to be considered. We'll be talking about all of those things, and I'm sure there will be reference points as well, because we can discuss unity or national reconciliation without referencing or some of the things that were done to maintain exactly what we have today as a country. So that will be something we'll talk about. So as we're going home on today's edition, I'm sure you also want to go in your little corners and just be observing and be thinking about how you could make your plans as well. But it has been a great time here, and I would still say Bonanti Kofa is basically the best for the speakership, and I hope all of you can really consider that and support him genuinely, not just you're in the public, you're saying it, and then when you go to cast your vote, you're unable to do that. So please be honest with that, and we hope for the best. Really.
Okay, so that's Princess Alexa Vanja calling for you. This is called Unition Nu. It was done by the group Bolo Super from La Côte d'Ivoire. They are the group of people from Ivory Coast. We want to leave you with this one. We'll return here on Monday of next week for a brand new conversation. But by that time, the Liberian legislature would have gotten done with electing the leadership of the House of Representatives. Whether it is going to be Councillor Jonathan Fonanti Kofa or Richard Nangbe Kung. Whatever it is, Liberia will have a speaker on Monday. Okay, so if you didn't know, now you know that the Liberian Senate also will be going to the polls to elect the next Senate pro tem of that August body. Enjoy this wonderful Grable music if you can. On Monday, I give you the interpretation of this song. Until then, Alexa and I will be bidding you bye-bye from our end.